Hello and welcome back to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today on 10 Minutes More or Less Ship Review, we're taking another look at the Crusader C1 Spirit, which is right behind me. Let's go ahead and take a look. Alright, welcome back to another ship review. Today, the C1 Spirit. The last time I touched on this ship, it was back in July, so we're going to take a look again and see if there's any changes, which I like to do. I like to come back to a ship and after a few patches and see if there's any changes. If there's been even the slightest change that can affect your purchase, I want to make sure you know about it. So, let's take a look at this beautiful ship from Crusader. Before we do, I want to make sure you guys know you need to subscribe so you can be notified about giveaways going on the channel, as well as future videos. So if you want to be notified about that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right now, I do have an active giveaway for ships, the C1 Spirit, the Hull A, and 2 starter packs that you have a chance to win. So make sure you enter into that. And again, thank you for 10,000 subscribers. You guys are all amazing. Now, I've been doing a bunch of live streams on Pyro. This is where I am doing this review right now on the planet of Bloom. So taking a look at this ship here. The Crusader C1 Spirit is $125 if you were to buy it on the Pledge Store. Now, if you were to get it in-game, in the city of Orison, you can buy it for $3,118,500 aUEC. Definitely a pretty good price point, given, just how beautiful of a ship it is and its capabilities. Now, looking at the damage output that it has, it comes at 1,668 damage per second due to those 4 size 3 M5A laser cannons. Now, prior, that damage was over 2,000, sitting at about 2,076, so it's taken a little bit of a hit there, and that's because its capacitors it doesn't have nearly as much. So you're firing, and then you gotta wait, and then you're firing, and then you gotta wait. You don't have nearly as many shots, so your damage per second really dropped down a bit, but it's not terrible still. It's actually really good. So I do still give that a positive point on this ship, and I appreciate that it has 4 guns. Now, after that, you have 4 size 3 Arrestor 3 missiles. In comparison to other ships like the Freelancer series or the Cutlass series or ships in this class, it doesn't have as many missiles as some of them, but it at least has some. So I can appreciate that fact. And they're Arrestor 3s, so they do put up a little bit of damage, especially if you land all 4 of them. Past that, this ship does have no remote or manned turrets for any sort of defensive capability. The only remote turret you have is a tractor beam at the top of the ship, which retracts down, allowing you to, load cargo a lot easier into the C1 Spirit. It's kind of hit and miss depending on the size of box you're grabbing or the size of the vehicle you're grabbing, but at least it's there allowing you to do so without having to leave your ship or grab a tractor beam off your hip or your back. So that's pretty nice. I do appreciate that. Not, many ships in this class have them, like the Hercules doesn't have it, even though that's a much bigger class, you would think it would. The Freelancer Max doesn't have it. The Freelancer series is completely void of tractor beams, which is truly too bad. Now, taking a look at this ship here, it does have 1 size 2 shield generator outputting 4,740 bubble shield. Prior, that was 6,000 shield, but all shields in the game got hit one way or another, whether most of them went down, but some of them at the, size 1 area went up. So, a little bit of changes there, and that's why I kind of like updating you. Now you know that this ship has, first of all, very low shields, only 1 size 2 shield generator. Are you kidding me? And now it's sitting at under 5,000. So pretty good information to have there. Otherwise, the HP was not hit on this ship, so still 67,600, which is truly the highest out of any ship in its class, probably by almost double in certain circumstances, or even triple. So that's pretty amazing. I gotta love that. A good amount of health pool, and that's probably why they can deal with just having 1 shield generator, but it's still too bad it's only 1 shield generator. Now, looking at the ship's cargo capabilities, it does have a cargo grid allowing you to carry 64 SCU of cargo or a small vehicle. That small vehicle is typically like an ROC or smaller. You're not fitting a NERSA Ursa in here or anything bigger than that, but you can typically load more cargo too, especially now that they fixed the grid in the most recent patches, allowing you to shove boxes in between the two aisleways, or the one aisleway, but is pretty nice. So you can, typically fit another 32 SCU cargo container back there. If you want to load as much as possible, you have the ability to. And that's good. Load it up. But then you got to be very wary because you only have one entrance on the ship, and that's that back cargo ramp. So you got to play around with how you load it and then when you get in. And that's where that tractor beam on top comes into play too. It could be kind of useful in this situation. It's pretty nice. Otherwise, again, only one entrance on the ship. That is definitely something to consider. When you get into something like a Zeus or a Freelancer, or even a Cutlass, you're spoiled with more than one entrance, and that's such a beautiful thing. So when you hop over to this ship, only having one entrance is really big bummer. Maybe someday they'll add like a ladder entrance to this ship, but I feel like they want a variety of ships that aren't always the same, and doesn't have one entrance, doesn't have 3 entrances, doesn't have 2 entrances. It's going to be a mixed bag, and this is what you get with the C1 Spirit. Moving past that, the ship has a top speed of 204 SCM with a 405 forward boost and a 212 backwards boost with a top nav speed of 1,130. So those stats didn't change, which is good, but also, still not the fastest ship in the game, obviously, not the slowest. And in competition, if you're going to really bring it up, it's in the middle. So it's pretty average on its speed, which is a good thing. Otherwise, the ship maneuverability is a 36-36-101 pitch yaw roll, so it's not bad. It sounds bad on paper, but when you're flying it in comparison, this ship moves really well. It's able to rotate a lot better, and it feels pretty good. It's not the worst. And you do have VTOL engines on the side too, so that's kind of nice. Not sure the situation where you would use that like in a combat situation, but you can definitely use that to help you land or take off, as it is vertical takeoff or landing thrusters. But sometimes, I've seen some pilots use it in combat situations as well, so pretty cool. Otherwise, to use those VTOL thrusters, by the way, just press K on the keyboard, and if you didn't know, now you do. Looking past that, you do have 45 SCU of hydrogen fuel. Pretty good amount of hydrogen fuel, not terrible by any means, and only 1.2 SCU of quantum fuel. Now, that quantum fuel stat may change. Right now, quantum fuel in the game is right up in the air because exploring Pyro, you come to realize you do not have enough quantum fuel to do nearly anything. And there isn't too many rest stops, and currently a lot of them don't even work. So it's kind of like, man, they better make the rest stops work or you're going to be in big trouble with this little amount of quantum fuel. So hopefully they'll take a look at that. Past that, there's really nothing else to go over on the stat side or the exterior, so let's take a look at the interior. Looking here, you have the entry of the ship coming up from the cargo ramp. You have a couple components back here. It does have its components in gold standard. You're able to access via the buttons there on each side. And then here's your cargo bay. Of course, you have the cargo that lines up on the right and the left, and you can, squeeze some up the middle as well. So that's pretty cool. Moving on forward, you do have another room full of more components. And here on the right's where you're going to have some of your, like your engineer station right here with a fuse relay. So pretty good to know that location. Moving forward, continuing, we have a fire extinguisher as well as a bathroom. The bathroom, gotta love it. This is where you would go ahead and take care of business when you need to. So thankfully it does have one of these on board, not like the Cutlass Black. And then you have a little kitchen area with a nice little fridge here and the ability to make some food, as well as a bed for the pilot and the co-pilot, as well as accessible storage, which is really nice. You can access your storage and go ahead and store things, like storage should allow you. Past that, you do have 2 armor lockers here, as well as a gun rack with plenty of space for a couple rifles and a few handguns. Pretty nice. Gotta love that. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. These beds, by the way, are escape pods, so prepare to be freaking out once those work and you need to eject out of your ship. Laying in bed to do so never feels like a good idea. Gonna go ahead and get into the pilot seat. Nothing changed with the MFDs. They got an update on their visuals, but otherwise no change of how many screens or anything. So we will go ahead and take off, and I'll give you my score. Overall, the C1 Spirit does really stride at being a great ship with its price point. There's definitely no going wrong with picking up this ship. You just have to understand it has one entrance and it has a pretty crappy shield arrangement. So otherwise, it's a great ship. 8 out of 10 from me. It definitely deserves a high score. To some people, it's a straight 10 out of 10. And, you know, sometimes that one entrance is a real, you know, deal breaker. So otherwise, it's a great ship. Let me know, what do you think of the C1 Spirit down in the comments below. You know, do you have one? I mean, I wouldn't doubt that you do. And if you don't, do you plan on picking one up? Or are you going to wait to see what the Intrepid looks like? Or did you decide over, you know, this ship, the Zeus, the Freelancer, the Cutlass? What do you feel like is a great ship to have if you're not picking this one? Thank you guys for watching. Again, you are all truly amazing. And to the channel supporters, with the channel members, everybody, seriously, I appreciate every one of you, so thank you so much. Make sure you guys join me on a live stream once in a while. It's amazing, and I really have a fun time. It's been fantastic. Thank you again. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.